Welcome to AFibulous Life, Unlimited Conversation, the podcast where we explore what it really means to live, adapt, and thrive with atrial fibrillation. Hosted by Jim Caveney, this is a space for real stories, expert insights, and honest conversations about heart health, resilience, and life beyond diagnosis, because AFib doesn't define you. And with the right support, your life can still be unlimited.
Well, hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jim from AFibulous Life, and you are joining another version of Unlimited Conversation. And this one's a little bit different. You know, I'm on the road. I'm taking some real time away, which is kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth because I'm actually recording this podcast while I'm away. But anyways, we'll get into that in a second. So I am taking some time away, and rather than skip an episode, right, I wanted to bring you into what I'm actually trying to practice now in real time instead of talking about it after the fact. And it's this. So today isn't a conversation with a guest. It's just me today thinking out loud about something I think a lot of us in this situation and community often get wrong, and that's rest. And for me, here's the frame for today: that vacation as practice, not a reward, not a permission slip, you know, ultimately that you have to earn. Because sometimes I function where, like, if I do X, Y, and Z, then I can take a break. No, I don't think that's the way it should be, right? I think the way in the practice should be is this. A practice, same as anything else we talk about on this show. It should be a skill that we learn. Because we often talk about the centers of excellence here. That's our sole purpose, is talking about us becoming our own personal center of excellence. But here's the real thing, right? Recovery isn't just about what happens in the cardiologist's office. It's the thousands of small decisions and how we spend our attention every single day. Rest is one of those decisions. And today I want to treat it like the skill it actually is, because it is. And rest sometimes scares me, and my family often say, well, there's stuff to do, so Dad's gonna keep moving and keep shaking, and when everything's done, then he can relax. And I know that's probably not the right way to do it. And I'll be honest, when it comes to vacation specifically, the first day or two of any time off, I sometimes don't relax. I do get a little restless, and I'm like, well, I'm sitting around for a little bit. Well, there's probably something I should be doing. But that some part of my nervous system is still scanning for the next thing to manage, right? And maybe that's what's happening. And if you've lived with AFib like I have, you probably know that feeling. Your body has spent a long time in a kind of hypervigilance, watching for the next episode, the next flutter, the next thing that might go wrong. So stopping doesn't necessarily feel safe. It makes you feel exposed. Now, that's not a character flaw, I don't think. That's a nervous system that learned to stay switched on because it had to, right? And that's what happens when you become a patient and you get a diagnosis. You become hypervigilant. But here's what I keep trying to come back to. The nervous system doesn't know the difference between a deadline and a threat. It just knows either on or off. And if we never practice off on purpose, we never actually get to choose it. It just happens to us, usually in the form of some form of crash, which is not usually good, right? Because then you have to recover from that. So this is exactly why I don't think of AFib as only a cardiac condition. It's a whole life condition. The rest of it is whole life work, right? That's what rest is. Rest is whole life work, and we have to practice this like anything else we try to, and everything else I talk to you about, right? I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell you to do all these things when in fact I'm struggling. But I think that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that it's hard, and I do it myself. I struggle with this every single day. So when we talk about vacation as a practice, what does it actually look like? Instead of just hoping that it happens, right? For me right now, it's a few specific things, right? So it's me. Well, I just did that, not purposely, but it's taking that breath, actually pausing before I feel a quiet moment, right? I don't want to dive onto my phone or do a task. I'm actually doing much better on eliminating the phone out of my life because I think it's just a pain in the rear end more than anything. But before I pause, before I feel a quiet moment, right, I try to block those hours with nothing assigned to them, which honestly still makes me a little uncomfortable to even type that kind of into the calendar. It's having that blank spot in the calendar that just says nothing, right? That sometimes scares me. And as a presence, right? So how do you be present in those moments? Like treating this trip like a repetition, not like a break from the repetition, excuse me. Right? So presence is a trained skill, and it's something that I'm working on. And it's the same as the pillars that we talk about on beat by beat, that the movement, the nutrition, the sleep, the stress. Rest specifically belongs right there with them. It's not separate from the work. It is the work for some weeks. So if you're listening to this on a walk or a drive or folding laundry, I'd love to know, when's the last time you rested without earning it first? Please send me a message or send me an email, because I'd like to read it. I'd like to connect with you. I'd like to share that on the next episode, because it's important. Like, I try to do things, and I'm sure you've heard this if you've read James Clear's book. There's the habit stacking, right? And with habit stacking, I tend to do things a multitude of times. I'll listen to a podcast and I'll fold laundry at the same time. It's not necessarily restful, but I'm trying to knock things out faster so that I can get to the rest. But anyways, if you find something that you're doing right now and you want to share it with me, please send it my way, and I'd love to be a part of that, because I'd love to connect with you. So let's connect this back to something I say a lot on this show, and that's about agency. And agency is the real engine of long-term change. And that's the finding time to choose rest, actually choosing it on purpose, nothing else, instead of collapsing into it when your body finally forces the issue. That, my friends, is what we call authorship. That's you being in control. That's not you surrendering. That's you writing the next page instead of just reacting to it and reacting to whatever the last page did to you. Now, in my book, Unlimited Heart, How to Transform Your Pain into Purpose, I write about how pain gets transformed into purpose. And I think we sometimes assume that transformation only happens in the heart, in the dramatic moments. But what I've learned throughout my life now is out here, right now, that it also gets practiced in the soft moments, in the quiet ones, in the ones that nobody is watching, right? That's important. When it's just you and the world and yourself and time and space. That's really what's important. So I'd love to learn and turn some of what you send into a future mailbag episode. So even a quick shout out to me would be great. So if you've got your own rest as a practice moment, big or small, please send it my way. So wherever you're listening from, on your own break or right in the middle of a full week, I hope this message is a nudge to you to treat rest like it matters, because it truly does. Now, next week I'll be back with more episodes. We've actually got real life guests other than just myself coming on. But if you find this information helpful, and it's been a part of your life on a week or bi-weekly basis for this, but the beat by beat is on a weekly basis. If you're finding this information helpful, please share it with somebody else out in the community, because we want to expand this platform so that we're connecting with as many people as possible. And until I come back in a couple of weeks, I want you to continue to live fully, lead boldly, never stop writing your own story, because your heart has more to say. Now keep listening. This is the AFibulous Life. Until the next time, take care and find time to rest, because I'm shutting down. I'm going to go do it myself. Take care.